Hi, and welcome to the Simulation Consortium. If you are watching this video, you have probably taken our Simulation Facilitator course. And so to have full disclosure, I am completely biased towards simulation. I think simulation can be used in healthcare to improve processes, to improve design, to improve education, and we have great opportunities. So I'm excited that you are with us. I am excited that you have this opportunity, and we welcome you. So I have a few things to talk to you about. I am interested in sharing some knowledge about simulation in our consortium. I want to begin with a book called Teaming. This book is by Amy Edmondson. I read this book and first learned about psychological safety in this book and how important it is to learning. Learning is a lifelong process, right, for all of us. We have things to learn, and we are novices in some areas and experts in other areas. We have things to learn, and it doesn't stop, right? Life is just a bunch of projects. We finish one, we get 3 more. If we can have this attitude of making our teams psychologically safe, our teams will do better, our teams will go farther, and I am so excited to have this book and learn from it. And I've highlighted it, I've underlined it. There's some concepts in these books that I'm going to tell you about all 3, but these concepts are fabulous. Learning concepts for lifelong learning. The second book that I want to recommend to you is called Team of Teams by General Stanley McChrystal. This book is about leadership in an information overloaded world. Leaders cannot lead the way that they used to. We have to be better than we were in the past. Not to say that they were terrible in the past. They were doing what they could in the world that they lived in. But today's world is different. We have so much information coming at us all the time, and I can't tell you how many emails I get every day. But the ideas of leadership are changing, and we have to be able to change with it. This book is one of my favorite books. The second book is One Mission by Chris Fusel. These 2 books go together. And using both of these books, we were able to learn how to lead something as big as the Simulation Consortium. We want to be good leaders. We hope that we can help you in any way, shape, or form. And using these concepts, I think it's important to be the best leaders that we can. Share a couple thoughts. You have to gain trust and transparency with your team. Whatever team you're talking about, if you can have trust and transparency with your team, that's valuable. It's actually pretty difficult to do, and it takes effort every day. And the concepts of psychological safety are in these books that I learned in the Teaming book by Amy Edmondson. So first, trust and transparency. If you can do that, every day working at it, your teams will gel. Now, you can create a shared mental model. You do this in different ways, getting a vision set forth. You have policies and procedures. So many things go together to help get this shared mental model. Now, if you have trust and transparency and you have this shared mental model, now your team is empowered and they can have engaged empowerment. They know what to do, they know which direction to go, and they're going to be fabulous. I'm not spoiling this book, I promise. You can read it and gain more than what this short synopsis is. There's so many good stories in the book, and I hope you enjoy it. I am willing to give you a book. If you contact me, we actually have it on audio through the Simulation Consortium. If you are interested in listening to it, then please do. They're fabulous books. I have some more concepts to share with you. They're in the other room. We are going to talk about our Simulation Consortium, how it's built, our model, and then I'm going to share with you something called There Is No End to Better. It's a concept and a theme, so to speak, of our program. So let's go in the other room and I'll share those with you. All right, this operating model that is right next to me is what we use to move simulation forward within Intermountain Healthcare. This operating model is probably going to be here for some time because I think it's actually pretty good. So let's talk about the 4 lanes. We have technology, intake, quality, outcomes. So concentrating on each of those areas helps us understand how to showcase simulation. Outcomes is probably where we are able to show you what we've done. The idea, though, is that we can't get very far without concentrating on all 4 lanes. So let's begin with technology. Technology includes our mannequins. It includes our space to do simulation. It includes even the beds and the cribs. So the idea of the recording equipment and everything that is needed to maintain a simulation environment, that's technology, the technology lane. So they help us, they set up the scenarios, they break it down, they keep it clean. All of these things are super important. Without technology, what would simulation be? So that's why technology is surrounding the whole of the model. Let's talk about intake. Intake, these folks are interested in helping someone who's maybe not as familiar with simulation. They take a request and they help mold it so it fits the simulation rules and guidelines. We have some standards in simulation that we need to maintain to be able to do the best simulation that we possibly can according to the international standards developed by the Society for Simulation in Healthcare. And so maintaining these standards is pretty important. We want to do the best simulation we can, and if we do that well, then it leads to all of these other things. So intake folks are so important and will help anyone get simulation for their needs. Now, simulation is not perfect for absolutely everything. It can't solve every problem. I'm not biased enough to be misled into thinking that simulation can solve every problem, but I think simulation can help a lot. And so intake folks are very, very important. Next, let's talk about quality. Quality in this model is the quality of simulation. Simulation has standards. There are international standards from the Society for Simulation in Healthcare, and we are accredited by the Society for Simulation in Healthcare, have been since 2017, and these folks are the ones that are going to maintain that accreditation. They also are super fabulous in maintaining our simulation facilitator course, and the ideas of maintaining that quality and doing policies and procedures and all of those things that are necessary to run a program, that lands in their bucket. Last but not least, we're going to talk about outcomes. With all of this, we're able to drive these outcomes, and this model here is based on the Kirkpatrick model of learning. So we have reactions or preferences, we have learning that happens, application of learning or behavior improvements on the units. What impact does that have on patients? And then what is the return on that expectation or investment? So with simulation, we can get up to about here. So the simulation scenarios specifically can get us this far. This depends on what they do after they leave simulation. So we have surveys that help us figure out outcomes. One survey is for participants, and we ask them, did you like this? And what did you learn? And so we want them to report back to us what they learned and how they plan to improve their behavior on their units. We also can send them another survey if they so desire to report their behavior improvements later. After they've been away from simulation for a month or so, we can send them a survey and they can report back to us. So that's another way we collect outcomes. The ideas of outcomes also include these other things. So technologists, the simulation specialists, they fill out a survey and help us maintain the quality of our mannequins because they need to be turned over every once in a while. They wear out. And so we will use our surveys to know how much are we using this mannequin specifically, how much mileage it has, and so when do we need to change the oil, so to speak. So the third survey is by our facilitators. We want to maintain psychological safety for our participants. And so we have a system where the facilitators report any psychological safety events, any distress that has happened. And it actually doesn't happen all that often. We are dealing with professionals who are smart and skilled and want to improve. These people are learning, and that is what they want when they come to simulation, and that is why they like it so much, as an aside. But the ideas of outcomes are to gather all of this information from all of these lanes and to report it. We do a survey for the simulation facilitator course, for example, and we want that to be reported back to us so that we can learn and improve the course over time. I think it's a pretty good course. I'm completely biased in that as well, so please forgive me. But that is our model: technology, intake, quality, and outcomes. We're going to use this model for a long time, so understanding this model, I think, is important, and how it relates to the Kirkpatrick model. And here it is. So if you have any questions about it, please ask someone. We are trying to improve it. Obviously, it's not perfect, but it's pretty darn good. So help us improve it. I don't know which lane you're going to be in. I bet it's going to be involving all of them, to be honest, because we're going to report back to you outcomes. So best of luck in your simulation activities. Before I go, I have one more thing I want to tell you about, and it's a theme in our program. So let's go look at that. Last little bit that I want to share with you is this theme: set expectations high, there is no end to better. Set expectations high. The reason why we repeat this is because, well, we make mistakes, and we need to reset our sights, go higher and higher. If you talk about continuous improvement, you talk about high reliability, you talk about crisis resource management, there are going to be situations we're thrown in. It's going to be hard. We can get through this. You're smart, you're skilled, you want to improve. We want to use simulation to help healthcare improve every step of the way. So set expectations high, reevaluate, move forward, set expectations high. As you do this, as you make simulation part of your life and healthcare improvement, we want you to involve the simulation team. Please help us to make simulation the best it can be. We have simulation specialists in the technology lane. We have quality consultants. We have intake consultants. We have outcomes consultants. Please help us and involve us so that we know how to best serve you. We want to help you, and we can do great things together. We're so excited that you are with us. I love simulation. I hope simulation can be a part of the improvement that is around you, and you can help your teams be the best that you can be. So please, any questions, any comments, get back to us, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your involvement and the great things that you do.